What's up, everybody? I hope that you're all well. Lovely to have you here with me this evening. I'm going to go through everything ahead of this game against Arsenal tomorrow. We've got a load of stuff to get through. Jurgen Klopp had his pre-Arsenal press conference today. There's some reaction from the managers over the overturning of Manchester City's 2-year ban by the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Some transfer gossip and lots of stuff in between as well. As always, ladies and gentlemen, this is your show. If there's anything that you want to talk about, please do put it into the live chat. And if you're watching this back later on, we'd love to know your thoughts on the things that we've discussed tonight, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well. Look, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, there has been a bit of reaction from Premier League managers about Manchester City's 2-year ban, 2-year European ban, I should say, being overturned by the Court of Arbitration for Sport. So I thought I'd just give you guys a bit of a flavour of what a few of the managers had to say. I'll start off with Jose Mourinho, and he said, "It's a disgraceful decision, because if City are not guilty, then you're not punished with a €10 million fine. If you're not guilty, you shouldn't have a fine. If they are guilty, the decision is also a disgrace, and you should be banned from competition. I don't know if Manchester City are guilty or not, but either way, it's a disgraceful decision." Very carefully worded, I should say, there from Mr. Mourinho. And again, we'll move on to Jurgen Klopp now, and I will be fair about this. I will move on to Pep Guardiola at the end as well. So here's what Klopp had to say about it. He said, "I don't think it was a good day for football yesterday. To be honest, FFP is a good idea. It's there for protecting teams and the competition so that nobody overspends and have to make sure that the money they want to spend is based on the right sources. If the richest clubs and countries can do what they want to do, then it makes it difficult. They would lead to a world league, and it would depend on who owns the clubs and not the names of the clubs." So what Klopp was touching on there is the thoughts of a potential European Super League or a breakaway league in Europe. I'm sure you guys have seen and heard about this discussed many times before. It's something that UEFA really want not to happen, because if a European Super League or a European breakaway league did happen, it would most likely be outside of their remit, and there's loads of repercussions that could happen over that, and I'm only really just touching the surface of it. But one of the things could be that any players who take part in a potential European Super League could be banned from international competitions, because they would be going outside of the UEFA FIFA banner and setting up their own form of football, basically their own league. So I think it's something that I don't want to see happen. Personally, I think it would take away, obviously, from the Champions League, and it would lead to this even further 2 or 3 tiered system than we already have. I mean, there are already some super rich clubs out there. Of course, we probably class ourselves as one of them. And I want football to be kept as much of a level playing field as possible. But anyway, I digress a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. And now I'll move on to Mr. Guardiola and what he had to say about it. And then, of course, I'll dip into the chat and see what your opinion on this is. Your guys? That's not the right way of saying it, Craig. What your opinion on it is. So, Pep Guardiola, he said, "This club tried for the whole history at Main Road, or with our heroes like Colin Bell or Mike Summerby, the legends that we've had. We've done our best to do it on the pitch." A little bit vague there about that, but we move on anyway. "I know that for elite clubs like Liverpool, United, Arsenal, it's uncomfortable us being here, and they have to understand we deserve to be with them and fighting for the achievements that they have achieved in the past. We deserve to be stronger year by year. There are incredible people in this organisation working to make us better. We don't have to ask permission to be here. We deserve to be here. When we lose, I will shake the hand and congratulate them, but all the time we have done. Guys, accept it. We want to be here, and we tried. Sometimes we win, sometimes not, but they have to understand it. Don't whisper and go behind our backs. Do it on the pitch." Now, I think that's a bit fucking rich coming from Guardiola and Manchester City, if I'm being honest about it, because they might have been cleared and they may have had their ban overturned, but nobody will ever convince me on a personal level that they haven't bent the rules and that they haven't cheated and that they haven't done all the things that they've been accused of, or at least a majority of the things that they've been accused of. I read through all the emails from Der Spiegel, those leaked emails, and as Gary Neville alluded to when he spoke about this, UEFA can't organise a piss up in a brewery. They really haven't got a clue, and their disciplinary hearings are a farce. And of course, Gary Neville would have more insight to this, and he thinks that this is maybe the slap around the face that FFP and UEFA need to kind of get their house in order. And look, outside of Manchester City fans, I genuinely don't think that there is a single football fan out there that thinks that Manchester City have done nothing improper. I'm yet to find one. Now, one thing that I want to just put again, this is just my opinion. If you think, or if anybody thinks that Manchester City are as appealing to financial partners or to sponsors as a club like Man United, Liverpool, Barcelona, Real Madrid, you're fucking kidding yourselves. I'm sorry. But the fact that they're getting these tremendous sponsorship deals when they've got no fan base around the world, they don't have fans in every corner of the world. So in an open market, nobody will ever convince me that their value for a sponsor is anywhere near the same as Liverpool or Manchester United. I just don't see that happening. I just don't see how that is the case. And if anybody does feel that way, please let me know about it in the comment section, because I'd love to know how you've come to that conclusion. Because let's be quite frank about this. When you go and you see Liverpool on pre-season tours, United on pre-season tours, Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, whoever it might be, fans everywhere. Manchester City, and maybe this is because they're rather new to success in football, and yes, they've won stuff in the past, but it's been quite a while, and as a club, they're definitely not somebody you think of in the elite levels. Historically, I should say, right now where they are, of course, they're performing very well. They've got a great squad, a great manager, and they're winning a load of trophies. But again, I still harp back to these emails, and just because they got off with it doesn't mean they're not guilty. It just means that there are very good legal teams fighting their corner. That's all I'm going to say in it. The managers have had their say. I had my say last night, but for some reason YouTube didn't really put the stream out. Nobody got the notifications, and it got very little views compared to a normal stream. So I said I'd come back in tonight and talk about it again. But look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hand it over to you guys now for a while in the chat and see what you think. The cheek of Pep, for fuck's sake, said Subi. Dave Smith said no notification again this evening. Most other people did get one, Dave, to be fair. I did check with Connor and a few others just to make sure that they had gone out. But, you know, YouTube at this point, Dave, they never always go out. It really is suspicious. It makes me wonder, said Ethan's Corner. What if they knock us out of the Champions League next year with Neymar and Mbappe playing for the cash, said Dave. I don't know, man. It is... One thing I've always said about this case with FFP and Manchester City is this was the big test case, and to me this signals the death of FFP as we currently know it, because it's clearly not enforceable, or maybe UEFA just aren't good enough at policing it, because we know clubs like Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain and other wealthy clubs can tool themselves up with the best lawyers that are out there, and look, they've every fucking right to do that. They've every right to defend their corner and to try and get away with things. And it's up to UEFA to make sure that their rules are in place. And one of the things from the Court of Arbitration for Sports, very minimal information that they gave out, because the full written, what's the phrase I'm looking for? The full written result of this, or whatever you want to call it, won't be out for a few more days. So what we have to go off is, one of the things is that there's a statute of limitations of 5 years, and some of the things that Manchester City have been accused of fall outside of that statute of limitations of 5 years. And the reason that this is important is that's UEFA's own fucking statute of limitations. So straight away going into this, that was it. They were fucked, because they thought that they could punish them for something that happened over 5 years ago, when in their own handbook, their own rule book for FFP, it states that they can only be punished for stuff that's happened in the last 5 years. You could not make this up. How stupid is their own governing body that's supposed to be taking care of the sport, protecting the sport, and they seem like they haven't got a clue what the fuck they're doing. It's mental. And as I said, again, I come back to Gary Neville talking about this. He intimated the same, that they're just not fit for purpose, UEFA, with regards to FFP. And look, I've said all along, whatever the result is, it is what it is. Manchester City have the right to compete in Europe. Manchester City have the right to go out and sign players. And it is what it is. But nobody's ever going to convince me that themselves and Paris Saint-Germain have not been clever. Let's put it that way. I'm going to be careful about what I say. What have we got? City fans are inside Manchester, barely any international fans at Ethan's Corner. Disgrace, said Jack McNamee. Damn the day Mansour bought the club, said Isa. I feel like it shouldn't be 5 years. If something financially comes out 6 years later, they have been cheated the system. What gets me about this, Matt, is, again, this is my very limited understanding of this, because I'm not professing to be a financial expert in any way, shape or form, but they were investigated about some of the same things going back quite a while, and they were fined, if my memory serves me correct. I don't remember exactly what it was over, but they are still under investigation by the Premier League, by the way, so I'm not expecting much more of a positive outcome from the Premier League, but look, we are where we are. But Guardiola can keep his sanctimonious bullshit and his stupid fucking opinions to himself. Because I respect him as a manager thoroughly. I respect everything he's done in the game. But everybody fucking knows, Pep. Everybody knows that there's something a bit iffy going on there at City. And you standing on your fucking soapbox, mate, and screaming from the rooftops. He actually came as far as to say that he wants an apology. You're going to be waiting a long time for that apology, Pep, because you might have gotten away with it with Manchester City. But the rest of the world knows, mate, that there's something just not right there, and you'll be a long time waiting for that apology. That's all I'm going to say in that anyway. And I'm going to move on to the next set of things that we have to talk about from Jurgen Klopp's press conference today. We don't have to cheat to win, said Darrow with regards to Liverpool, obviously. Supposedly the Premier League will also investigate, but I don't think the result will be massively different. Maybe another fine that will be a piece of piss for Manchester City, and that's from Alvmar0122. Thank you for that, buddy. Rob Shepherd said, financial fraudster Pep, FFP. I like it, Rob. I see what you did there, mate. Well in. Liz said, the financial fair play have too many loopholes if teams like City and Paris Saint-Germain get away with this crap. I absolutely agree with you, Liz. And look, I don't think anybody really expected anything else. Anybody I spoke to about this, and you go right back to when Manchester City first put this appeal in with the Court of Arbitration for Sport, you've seen solicitors and stuff, or barristers talking to the Sky Sports and stuff, and they were saying that they fully expect Manchester City to get away with it because they have endless resources, pretty much. I mean, they've got the wealth of a fucking country behind them. Stephen Smith said, too right, Craig. Pep is off his head. PJ Ladd said, hey, Craig, just joined watching the Norwich-Chelsea game. By the way, please do keep me up to date with what's going on in that game, because you know me, I have a little bet on it. So, Akinfenwa spoke to the boss, said that was brilliant, by the way. And congratulations to Wycombe Wanderers and Adi Akinfenwa on their promotion to the Championship. I think it's the first time in their history that Wycombe have been up in the Championship. So, congratulations to them. Obviously, it was a hard day for Ben Woodburn and Oxford United who lost out, but hopefully they can come again. But yeah, congratulations. And also, we said this again yesterday, but I know a lot of people didn't get the notification, see the stream, so I want to take a second again to pass on our sincere condolences to Serge Aurier and his family and Spurs and everybody associated with the club on the killing of his brother. He was murdered, he was shot at 5 a.m. in Toulouse outside of a nightclub, and I don't know what else to say other than our condolences to Serge Aurier and his family on what must be an extremely difficult time right now. So lots of love from all of us, and I know you guys will be the same. It's just been a weird year, 2020, hasn't it? Just so many crazy things going on. But look, we'll move on to Jurgen Klopp's press conference today ahead of the Arsenal game, and a couple of things that I picked out from this one that I thought you guys would like to know about. Firstly, the manager confirmed that James Milner, or James Milner as we like to call him, won't be available for selection for the Arsenal game, but he could well be back in contention for the game against Chelsea, which is coming up a week from tomorrow. As I said before, this game against Chelsea was originally scheduled to take place this weekend, but with Chelsea's participation in the FA Cup semi-finals, that game was pushed back a few days. So Milner may be available for that one, but not available for the game against Arsenal tomorrow. He went on to talk a little bit about Dejan Lovren's future as well amid all the transfer speculation, and here's what Klopp had to say. He said, Dejan is a very important part of the squad. It is always like this. We have 4 centre halves and normally play with 2 of them. We need them all. He's a very reliable player. I have nothing else to say about it. As I'm sure you guys also know, the club have an option to extend Dejan Lovren's contract by another year. And they may do that, it said, if no offer comes in for Lovren or if he hasn't moved on by the end of this transfer window. This led to a lot of Liverpool fans kind of losing their mind a little bit about it on social media. But here's what I will say. The reason that they've put that out there, the reason that they've spoken about the option to extend Lovren's contract by a year, is to protect the player's value and to strengthen their hand in any potential negotiations with clubs like Zenit, who have been linked with a move for Degsy, just to let them know that, yeah, he's got 1 year left on his contract, but don't come in and think you're going to get him on the cheap, because we can extend that by another year, thus protecting his value and, it's just strengthening their hand in negotiations. That's genuinely what I read into that information coming out anyway, but of course we all see and hear these things a little bit differently, don't we? Right, Mohamed Salah as well. He's about to make his 150th appearance for the club, and the gaffer took a moment to talk about Mohamed Salah and how special he is. He said he's played 50 games a season, big number. We're lucky he can play these games and he isn't injured. I was very positive in the moment that we were cleared to sign him. I remember our talk when we first met face to face, and he spoke about his favourite position on the right. He said Sadio plays there, but I said Sadio can play on the left too. So it was really clear, and now we've scored as a trio 250 goals between them, so it's worked out well. You cannot change the world alone, but together you can. I love that last line by the manager. And look, there's nobody going to deny that Mohamed Salah has had an amazing impact at this football club since he came in. Opposition fans often try to just call him a one-season wonder, but you don't have 100 goal contributions, 100 goals and assists combined in 3 seasons, or less than 3 seasons still technically, if you're not a very, very good footballer. And as Klopp said, between the front three, they've banged in 250 goals, which is just remarkable. So that's pretty much where we are with Jurgen Klopp's press conference today. Nothing else really that I've seen in it to talk about. I will go through my predicted 11 and my score predictions as well for the game tomorrow. And we also did a preview with Claude and Terry from Claude's channel. You probably know Claude from AFTV. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, please do. It's up on the channel. Issa said Lovren's linked to Zenit St. Petersburg. Yep, again, something I covered yesterday in the stream that nobody really got to see because UEFA didn't put the notifications. Or UEFA? Definitely wasn't UEFA. YouTube didn't put the notifications out. Let him go on a free. We'll get max 7 million from, and we're paying him 100 grand a week, said Daniel Jones. I don't know, man. I was wondering about the value of Dejan Lovren. I think somewhere between 10 to 15, or maybe 12 to 15, something like that. Yes, he is 31 years of age, I think, but he's a very experienced player, and these days players can carry on playing till they're 34, 35, 36 maybe, if they look after themselves. One thing I've always said is I'll never knock any player who wants to get more game time, because their careers are relatively short, and Lovren may well want to move on and get more game time. Maybe he'll have an open and frank conversation with the manager, and Klopp will say to him, "You're my 4th choice centre back. If you're happy with that, stay. If you're not, do what's best for you. If you decide you want to move on, then, we'll try and make that happen." I don't know. It's all just guesswork, I suppose. Right, I'm going to go through my predicted lineup and my score predictions for the game against Arsenal tomorrow. Please do let me know what you guys think. If you have a starting 11 in mind, again, put it in the chat. I'll try my best to get to it. Right, so here's my predicted 11. There you go. As you can see, I've gone for Alisson in goal, Trent at right back, Gomez, Van Dijk and Andy Robertson. Midfield trio for me for this game is Fabinho, Gini Wijnaldum and Naby Keita. Of course, I can understand any shouts for somebody who wants to put Curtis Jones in there. But that's the 3 that I think Klopp will go with. Obviously, Hendo's not available. Milner's not available. So I think we may see Fabinho, Keita and Wijnaldum. Of course, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is another very good option that Klopp could turn to. We'll have to wait and see. And then for the front 3, I think he's going to go strong. I think he's going to go with the 3 big boys, Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane and Bobby Firmino. I've gone for a 3-1 win for the Reds. Arteta seemed to suggest that maybe he'll go with a bit of a weakened squad. Obviously they have, or weakened 11 I should say. They have the game against Manchester City in the FA Cup coming up at the weekend. A chance for some silverware, albeit they'll go into that game underdogs against Manchester City. But I was wondering, and I did wonder all week, if maybe Arteta will have one eye on that game. And with the amount of injuries that they already have, and their chances of qualifying for Europe to the league slim, not out of the realms of possibility, but fairly slim, maybe they'll look to use the FA Cup as that route into Europe, and of course to try and get some silverware. So that's the 11 that I've gone with, ladies and gentlemen. Please do let me know what you guys think with regards to a starting 11 or score. Neko Williams said, RF gang, Connor has a feeling as well that Neko might start, and again, I won't rule it out, buddy, because when he has played, except for the game at left back, which for various reasons didn't really work out too well, but whenever I've seen him play at right back and fill in for Trent, I've never felt anything but comfortable with him being in there. He looks like a very, very good player. Hi Craig, what do you think about Robbo swearing at the ref? I thought it was good. I loved it, Paul. Absolutely loved it, mate. I love a bit of snidiness. I love Robbo. Yeah, like, I love it. I don't know what else to say, man. I just loved it. I thought it was brilliant. Can Liverpool get to the level of Manchester City? You mean the level we're already at, mate? I mean, only one of us has won the European Cup. Only one of us has won the league this year. Only one of us is Club World Champions. Only one of us won the Super Cup. I think we're at a pretty good level, mate, to be fair, Nageb. So I don't really worry about Manchester City. I only want to worry about Liverpool. And, you know, with regards to transfers and stuff, I'm sure we'll move on to that in a few minutes. Keep lovering to keep Salah happy, said Hex Boom. Yeah, he does love to get the coffees in. Think we'll win 2-1, said Ryan Brown. Firmino will score, said Ethan's Corner. Arsenal are a mid-table team right now, said Stephen Smith. Shame we've got nothing to play for, but at least we're champions. I don't know about nothing to play for, mate. We still have that record to go after. And look, I don't know how much the players, the manager, are thinking about the record, but 3 wins and we break it. 1 draw and 2 wins and we equal Manchester City's 100 points tally. You guys are probably sick of me talking about it, but all year I've been saying I would love Liverpool to break the 100 point barrier. It would be a tremendous achievement from a tremendous group. Look, nothing is going to take away from the fact that we've won the fucking league. Oh, did I not mention that? Oh yes, we are champions, 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 motherfucking champions. And nobody will take that away from us, but there are still things to play for. And of course, it's a short turnaround from the end of this season to the start of next season. Right, I did say I wanted to talk about transfers, and it looks like Premier League clubs are likely to vote in favour of the idea of the transfer window opening on July the 27th and closing on October the 5th, which will give clubs a period of 10 weeks to get their transfer business done. Now, this hasn't been ratified just yet, but as things stand, it does look like that the transfer window will probably open on July the 27th and close in and around October the 5th. And as I said, giving clubs a 10-week window to get their business done. I'm going to move on to talk about some transfer rumours in a second, but let me just switch this back to that layout. Look, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see on the screen, if you want to become a member of Anfield Agenda FC, just hit that blue join button. Membership to our channel is just 99p a month for our Anfield Agenda FC membership and $4.99 a month for our Anfield Agenda Ultra membership. For your 99p or 99 cent if you're in the States or if you're in Ireland or any part of Europe, you get all those custom emojis that you can see there, and I'm sure some of our members will put into the chat. You get the Anfield Agenda badge beside your name. That badge changes the longer you're with us, so it starts off as bronze, then after 2 months becomes silver, then gold, and then eventually our red logo that we have. You also get access to the Anfield Agenda Discord group, and if you're already a member, please do have a look on the community tab of our YouTube channel because you will see a link there to the Discord group. And if you're new, make sure that you join because it's part of what you're paying for. Right, let's move on anyway. Paul Clatworthy said, I think 4-0 Salah, Mane, Salah again, and Fabinho. Fabinho, I like that. Another Fabinho screamer would do rather nicely. Justin the Wood said, we need to find the net more often. Manchester City are scoring more than us. It doesn't really matter how many times they score, mate. All that matters is the points that are on the board. We need to just win. That's it. I don't really mind personally if we win 1-0 or 10-0 as long as we pick up the 3 points. But, you know, that's just me. If we do lose Lovren, who will we get in as a replacement? Matt, I've got you covered. Don't worry, mate. In a second, when I go into the transfer rumours, we will go through that. 0-0 still in the Chelsea game. Thank you for that, Nageb. We're champions of Europe, said Claire Barton. We are champions of the world as well, Claire. Important to remember that one. PJ said I wrote my lineup up here. Right, let's find it. So, PJ has gone for Alisson, Williams at right back, Van Dijk and Gomez at centre back. He's gone for Robbo at left back, Fabinho midfield, Jones and Gini, and then up front Sadio, Takumi Minamino and Mohamed Salah. Thoughts? Seems very plausible, PJ. I don't see why we'd need to rest Bobby, but maybe he will. Maybe he'll freshen it up. I don't know. But yeah, that team, in my eyes, if that's the team he went with, PJ, should be good enough to get a result. Do we have a definite start date for the next season yet? That's a long transfer window. The date that I spoke about before, Stephen, does look like it's going to be confirmed soon, and that is apparently September the 12th. That seems like the start of the new Premier League season. It's yet to be confirmed, but there are more and more leaks starting to come out now that suggest that that is the date that they're looking to start the new Premier League season. So that would give roughly, I think, a 6-week turnaround for clubs to get their pre-season done, to give the players a bit of a break. But obviously that break will be a lot less for clubs that are still competing in Europe. So Manchester City, Manchester United, Wolves, and technically still Chelsea at the minute, albeit I can't really see them turning around that massive deficit against Bayern Munich. Who's the first person we try to get with regards to transfers, Claire? Oh God, I can't speak for the club, but I will certainly go on and talk about transfers now and who we've been linked with. Craig, do you think Liverpool can win the Premier League, FA Cup and Carabao Cup in one season? Yes, we can, but to say we will do it would be very arrogant of me, mate, because, there's steep competition and there's only 3 domestic trophies each season to play for. I'd rather we ditched one of those and won the European Cup, mate. So I'd rather we went for a European Cup, FA Cup, and actually, do you know what? League Cup. I don't know why, but I've got more of an affinity towards the League Cup. There was some suggestions, by the way, that clubs that are going to be competing in Europe next season may not actually take part in the League Cup now. I've yet to see that clarified anywhere, but it was a talking point that I'd seen raised somewhere else. Spanking incoming, said Nageb. Do you think we can do Invincible in the next 3 seasons? I've said this at the start of the season, Sakib, and I've said it as we've moved on. I don't give a shit about Liverpool ever doing an Invincible season, man. I think that the measure of the best teams are the points. So for me, as good as that Arsenal Invincible team were, that Manchester City side that got 100 points in a season is the bar, as far as I'm concerned. So if we can equal that or break that record, that would be great. If we fall a little bit short of it, so be it. But I would genuinely rather see us break the 100-point barrier than go invincible. But hey, that's just my opinion. LFC's gone for Arsenal 2, Liverpool 4, Salah to score a hat-trick. That'll do nicely. Aaron, I'm doing well, thank you. I hope you are as well. Right, some transfer gossip, because there's quite a bit today. Usually there's some slim pickings, but I did spend a good bit of time this afternoon looking through all the transfer rumours. So, as I said, it looks like the window is going to open on July 27th and close on October the 5th. So let's start off with a report in Gazzetta dello Sport that claimed that Inter Milan are willing to sell their 25-year-old Slovakian international Milan Skriniar, I don't know how you pronounce his name, for around £45 million. They go on to suggest that because he's been linked with Liverpool in the past, we're somehow the most likely club to come in and pay that £45 million for him now. I genuinely don't know if there's any truth to us being linked to Skriniar. But 45 million quid seems an awful lot of money to me for a player that I don't even know if we need, if I'm being honest. And again, let me know what you guys think about it. I think he's 25 years of age, obviously plays for Inter Milan. They had said for the longest time that they weren't going to sell him. Now they're willing to sell him apparently for £45 million. I'd also seen somewhere that Ushman, I think is the guy's name, the Lille forward. I'm not Ushiman, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. He looks like he's going to sign for Napoli for like 70 million quid or something, which is an incredible amount of money. Inter also look like they're going to sell Lautaro Martinez to Barcelona, by the looks of things. There's talk that Neymar won't be going back to Barcelona, but I think the president of Barcelona was suggesting that they might have an interest in Martinez of course, Inter Milan as well. So are Inter looking to have a bit of a clear out? I don't know. But yeah, I'm genuinely shocked to see us linked to Skriniar, because I don't know if we need him. But again, let me know what you guys think. The next thing I want to talk about is Mundo Deportivo. Is it just me, or does that name always sound a little bit makey-uppy? Obviously it's not, but it just sounds a bit weird. Maybe it's because we used to have a makey-uppy thing called Mundo Sporto that we used to fuck around with a bit. But yeah, Mundo Deportivo claimed that Liverpool are considering a move for Espanyol's Uruguayan centre-back, what's his name, Leandro Cabrera, but only on loan. Now this one genuinely intrigues me, and it's why I said to somebody earlier on that I've got you covered with regard to the issue around Lovren. The report goes on to say that because Espanyol have been relegated from La Liga, there's a clause in his contract that means he's available on loan, and any interested club would only need to cover his wages, which are roughly around 45 grand a week. Now, could this be interesting? And here's why. So if he's only on loan for 1 year, let's just say, and that is, we wouldn't have to pay a loan fee, but the looks of things, we just have to cover his wages. So if he's on loan for 1 year, that to me makes a little bit of sense. And here's why. It allows us to have another look at Sepp van den Berg and Kiana Hoover, maybe even Nat Phillips. Gives them a year to progress while we still bring in somebody who can be our fourth choice centre back. It doesn't mean the club have to financially commit to making another signing, nor does it mean that we're blocking the pathway for one of these youngsters who we've already got to progress, show Klopp that they have enough, and maybe get into the four centre back rotation for the following season. It intrigues me. I'm not saying it's true, but if you go back and watch previous streams, I have said that signing somebody with experience for a short term may well be the solution here, if we're not going to go out and drop 50 million on Diego Carlos, 70 million on Koulibaly, or, you know, Upamecano, or whoever else you want to insert there in the centre-back position. This intrigues me a little bit. I've no idea if there's any truth to it or not. I've no idea how good this guy is, because I don't really watch much of Espanyol as much as I do watch a lot of La Liga, but just one I thought I'd bring to you guys because there was some rationale behind it in my head anyway when I read the links. Mundo is world. No, yes, I think it is, mate. I don't speak Spanish, but I think it might be. Someone else says Mundo means one. I thought it meant world as well, but there you go. I don't speak Spanish, as I said. Dylan Cooney said Mundo Deportivo translates to world of sport or sport world. Thank you for that, Dylan. I'd be surprised if we get anybody on loan. Again, the reason I was just saying that, Harry, and usually you've heard me before say I don't like the idea of loans. I didn't understand why Arsenal got Dani Ceballos in on loan, because what would happen there is if he plays really well, they put a really high figure on his head, Real Madrid, and if Arsenal don't want to pay it, then he either goes back to Real or somebody else pays it. But this situation will be a little bit different because there's already a clause in the dude's contract where he could go on loan, maybe trying to allow Espanyol to get back up then, and then they'd reassess. But again, I've no idea if there's any truth to it. Like all of these things, I've got no idea. I just read the articles like everybody else. We come in, we have conversations around them. Mundo means world, Connor said. He just looked it up. So Mundo Sporto, sports world, as somebody said earlier on, or world sport. He's been the best player this season at Espanyol, said Matt Douglas. Cool. As I said, Matt, I'm not even going to lie, mate, and pretend that I know much about the dude. I don't. Did you get Todd of the Flying Ants? Looks like it, Dave. Now, I'm not 100% certain, but yeah, we did try our best. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, by the way, sorry. We had a bit of a flying ant infestation at our back door yesterday out of nowhere. My wife was sitting in the sitting room having her dinner. She looked around and there was like hundreds of these little fuckers after somehow coming in through the door. So, yeah, we taped it up. We sprayed down a load of stuff, Dave, and it looks like it's okay. But it's been a rainy day today, so they probably wouldn't have been out and about anyway. But good looking out, Dave. Thank you, mate. Thank you for the advice yesterday as well. What's up, Craig said, it's Skeeks. Any info on Coutinho? Wouldn't mind them back on the cheap. I'm not going to change my opinion on Coutinho. For me, mate, I don't want him. I don't want him if he was for free. Fuck Coutinho, as far as I'm concerned. And anybody that does want him back at the club, again, I'd remind you to have a look into why the fucker left in the first place and how he left and the way he went behind the manager's back and loads of other stuff that I'm sure you probably know about. But for me, I don't want Felipe Coutinho anywhere near Liverpool Football Club, but that's just me and I'm fairly vindictive. Fan Statistica, thank you very much for the super chat, buddy, and that will get Nulan out while I'm reading this out, so give Nulan a little boogie. So, greetings from Canada. Curious we didn't use any attacking subs versus Burnley. Does it show Klopp feels midfield is the place to focus for tight games? It's intriguing, actually, mate. That's a good show. Either that or, yeah, I mean, we were creating a lot. That's what I would say. So it is a difficult one. It's a fair point, mate, and one that I hadn't really given much thought to until you raised it there, but we certainly created a lot against Burnley, more than enough to win that game, but it was one defensive lapse that cost us, and it was a good strike from Rodriguez, but I've never really thought about it before. I'm going to have a good think about it, though. The genuine answer is I don't know what goes through Klopp's mind, so I can't speak on his behalf. Delwyn Jones, another super chat. Thank you, Delwyn. Said, hey Craig, hope you're okay. I think we'll win tomorrow 3-0. I've got a feeling Shaqiri will start. I don't know if he will or not, but I will move on to talk about Shaqiri now in a second, mate. And look, I'm not somebody that has much love for Shaqiri, put it that way. I don't dislike the dude. I just think that he hasn't worked out at Liverpool. I can understand why we signed him. The relegation clause that he had in his Stoke contract, it made sense to bring him in, take a chance on him. But yeah, we'll move on. When's your next 888 Sport appearance? I don't think there's any. To be honest, Alex, I think that was the last of the filming that I've done with them, and with the world the way it is now and various other reasons, I don't know if I'll be doing any more 888 Sport stuff again, mate. But I enjoyed the bits that I did do. Chelsea 1-0 up Giroud score. Cool. Thank you for the update. Right, more transfer news that I want to keep going with because I've quite a bit tonight to get through. So let me just scroll up through my notes. I'm going to revisit a link from last night's stream, by the way, because again, as I said, a lot of people didn't get the notification. So we've been linked with a double swoop for Norwich's Todd Cantwell and Jamal Lewis. And I've long spoken about the fact that we've been monitoring Cantwell, but I genuinely hadn't seen much stuff linking us with a move for Jamal Lewis. We all know that Liverpool, and particularly Jurgen Klopp, does have a bit of a penchant for signing players from relegated clubs, and I'm a big fan of Cantwell. I would love us to sign Cantwell for a reasonable fee, and from what I've read, 20 million seems to be the starting price for Todd Cantwell, or the starting price for negotiations from what I've read today. At 20 million, if you get Todd Cantwell for 20 million quid, I think that is going to be a very astute signing. It mightn't be the glamorous, sexy signing that a lot of people would want, but I would again cast your mind back to Andy Robertson as well. And Liverpool do love to sniff out a bargain, so wait and see. And Jamal Lewis, I know a lot of you guys would love to come in as backup to Robbo, but would he really want to come in and be backup? And yes, we play probably 65 games a year, so we probably still would get plenty of game time, but I don't know. I genuinely don't know. The Cantwell thing makes more sense to me because he's almost a Lallana-esque style player, and with Lallana moving on now because his contract is going to be up when the season's over. Maybe Cantwell is a good option. I don't know. Obviously, we've got Curtis Jones as well, who could absolutely take that space. But Cantwell, he intrigues me. I have to say, I think he could be a very, very, very good signing for somebody. He's too good to go down and play in the Championship at Norwich. And I do like the idea of it, I have to say. I've long spoken about Cantwell. But at the right price, of course. Buendia is apparently going to Atletico. I did see those links as well earlier on, Matt. Who's my second team? Barcelona, mate. Again, I've spoken about that loads of times. Sorry, that wasn't meant as a dig at you, mate. Sorry, I mean, it's no secret. But when we played Barcelona last year, you'll see by my reactions how big of a gap there is between me giving a shit about Barcelona and my absolute love for Liverpool. Shaqiri needs to be sold, said Captain Clun, and I'm going to move on to Shaqiri in a second. Yes, so there's a report coming out of Turkey that suggests that Shaqiri's representatives have made contact with Fenerbahce over a potential move this summer. This would surprise me. I would have thought he might have set his heights a little bit higher than going to Turkey to play with Fenerbahce. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen or read anything on Shaqiri lately. I'd seen stuff ranging from Sevilla to move back to Italy, where, of course, I think did he play with Inter in Italy at one point. So yeah, I genuinely have no idea, but I wouldn't at all be surprised if Shaqiri moves on this summer. As I said, it hasn't quite really worked out for him at Liverpool. He's had a couple of good fleeting moments with us, obviously against Barcelona, the goal against United, but other than that, and I could be wrong on this could be just my perception, but he seems to pick up a lot of little injuries, a lot of niggly muscle knocks and stuff, and he's only getting back to fitness now since January, so that's quite a while for him only to be getting back to fitness. And I would move him on. I genuinely would move him on if an offer came in that the club are happy with. He doesn't seem to get that much game time under Kloppo, and I'm sure we'll hear Kloppo come out and say that he likes Shaqiri and he's a valuable member of the squad, but I don't think it's a secret that he's available for transfer if the right money comes in. Another link from yesterday that I wanted to talk about, and this again is the Thiago one, the one that you've all read a million times and the one that we've discussed lots of times. Well, the report yesterday suggested that we're in a three-way race with Manchester City and Juventus for Thiago from Bayern Munich. You hear mixed things on this. So the mainland European journalists seem to really think that we're interested in Thiago, whereas the Echo and a couple of other UK-based outlets don't think we've any interest in Thiago. I genuinely don't know, as I've said all along. I wondered if maybe Thiago was going to be a like for like, or an age like for like, I should say, swap maybe for Gini Wijnaldum, and by swap I mean Wijnaldum goes somewhere else, we don't renew his deal, and we bring in Thiago, both 29 years of age. Somebody floated the idea actually that maybe a genuine swap. So Gini Wijnaldum went to Bayern Munich and Thiago came here. I don't know if there's any truth to that. I don't know where that came from. Certainly didn't read it in the media anyway. I think it was just somebody on Twitter that Connor mentioned to me. I don't know. But one thing we can say is this transfer window is up in the air more than any transfer window I can remember in the past 10 years. 10 years probably that I can think of. I genuinely don't know if we're going to do anything in the market or if we're not. I have a funny feeling we're going to wait and try and sniff out a few bargains and perhaps try and move on a few fringe players. Marco Grujic is somebody else we haven't spoken about tonight, and I want him to be given a chance at Liverpool. I really, really do. I think he hasn't had a chance to impress Klopp yet. He's been out on loan at Hertha Berlin for the last 2 years. Seems to have done fairly well over there. Big fan favourite of the manager. And I just feel that if he came back to Liverpool and worked with James Milner, Jordan Henderson, Fabinho, I think he'd come on leaps and bounds. He's a big unit of a fella. Good engine. I still think back to his header against Barcelona all those years ago in the pre-season friendly. That was just a fucking amazing header. If you haven't seen it, Google it. I'm sure you probably remember. But yeah, so that's it with regards to the old transfer news anyway. Is there anything that you guys have seen or anything that you want to talk about? I think I've just got one more thing on my round of notes, and then I'm going to spend the rest of the stream going through your comments. So the latest round of Premier League testing carried out has provided one positive test result from 2,071 players and staff that were tested. This was the 13th round of testing, and as always, no details were provided about the club or the individual that had the positive test result. But all in all, I think the Premier League and the clubs, of course, have done a very good job in protecting their players and their staff. There's been a very, very low percentage rate of those tested to those being positive, which is great news. Obviously, we want everybody to be healthy and safe, but realistically, there was always going to be some positive results along the way. And I think, is this number 14? I don't have the information at hand. I think this might be number 14 in total. And thankfully, it doesn't look like anybody was very seriously affected if they did come back with a positive result. At least not that I've seen anyway. But look, that's all the stuff I have to talk about tonight. So now let me hand it over to you guys and we'll get to as many of your comments as I can. Don't forget, memberships are open. If you want to hit that blue join button, please do hit the subscribe button as well if you're new to the channel. As you can see, we've gone past 40,500 subscribers, which is amazing. We want to keep pushing on. We need your help to do so. So please do hit that subscribe button. Also, we do have other social media accounts that I wanted to bring up. We have our Twitter account and our Instagram account, and if you want to give us a follow on there, it's just at Anfield Agenda. But also, Connor started a new Facebook page in the last week or so. There is a link to that in the description of this stream, so if you're a Facebook user, please go over and give that page a like. It's going to be ran actually by some of the members of our channel, so I'm looking forward to that. Personally, I'm not a Facebook fan, I have to say. I'm really getting into Instagram though. I'm really enjoying our time on there, and that account's growing rather quickly. So if you are an Instagram user or a Twitter user, please do give us a follow at Anfield Agenda. And I'll be doing some Instagram lives and stuff, but Connor's been really active on there as well. Good news actually on the Crosby front. Mr. Connor Crosby finally managed to get some decent internet into his very, 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 very country house, shall we say. He lives in a house. It's not that quite big a house. In the country. But yeah, so Crosby should be available for a lot more live stuff now as well. I'm trying to get him on actually for the post-match show after the Arsenal game. And we're going to be using StreamYard actually for a lot of our post-match stuff now as well, so we can bring your comments up on screen and things like that. So yeah, I'm delighted that Connor is finally able to get some decent fucking internet, and we'll be able to bring him on for some live stuff. Because if you don't know who Connor is, he's the other half of this channel. He's the guy who does all the amazing graphics and all the imagery and stuff like that, and all the tech stuff as well, because I'm an idiot when it comes to stuff like that. So yeah, I'm actually delighted for Crosby that he got some decent internet, but not half as delighted as he is, because he was sending me screenshots of his upload speed and his download speed. What else we got? Thiago is too old. We should go in for somebody called Danny Olmo. I vaguely remember him, mate, but I'm not going to pretend that I know too much about him. Hope we get a positive result tomorrow night, said Elijah John 5. So do I. Craig, what's your thoughts on McKennie from Schalke? That's another one actually that I touched on last night. Weston McKennie is somebody who we've been linked with again. He's a midfielder, plays for Schalke. He's a USA international. Fun fact, he scored the fastest ever hat-trick for the US men's national team. I think he scored it in 13 minutes or something against Cuba. So yes, we have been linked to Weston McKennie, and that's somebody that I've seen us linked to going back quite a few months actually. So again, I haven't seen too much about Weston McKennie. I haven't watched too much of Schalke, but again, want to keep an eye on. I think he's about 21, if my memory's right, and I don't have my notes about Weston McKennie open at the minute. But God bless Wikipedia, because that's where I got that fun fact about him scoring the fastest ever hat-trick. Where's the Facebook link? As I said, mate, it's in the description of this stream. So if you're on, I don't know if you're on a phone or you're on the YouTube app or whatever, have a look underneath the stream and you'll see all the links to all our social media channels there. Kai said, need to beat Chelsea, lads. We'll try our best, mate. I mean, that's the day we're going to get the Premier League trophy, Kai. So I would imagine we'll be fairly motivated to finish the season with a home win. And if we do finish the season with a home win, we'll equal the record for the most home wins in one season, which is currently held. I think there's 3 clubs that have it. I think Chelsea have it, Manchester City have it, and Manchester United all have 18 home wins in a season. So if we do beat Chelsea at home, then we'll equal that record. Craig, you're looking fresh today. Thank you, Ian. I'm feeling really good, mate. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling refreshed, as you said. I'm feeling calm. I'm trying to be more chilled and not as angry as I have been over recent months. Houssem Aouar would be a shrewd piece of business, said Shay Trainer. No argument for me there, Shay. You know I'd love a bit of Houssem Aouar at Liverpool. But what I wouldn't enjoy is the fucking negotiations with Johnny Cuntylocks, who was of course our nickname for, what's the dude's name? I've called him Johnny Cuntylocks for so long that I can't even remember the president of Lyon's name. Jean-Michel Aulas, isn't it? Yes, him. He's very tough to deal with, but then again, so is Michael Edwards. Craig, I think we should send scouts up to watch Turnbull in Scotland. Norwich are after him. He's only 21, said Scotty. Scotty, of course, I know you've got a good knowledge, mate, of the Scottish game, so I will absolutely have a look at him. Jackie D, Jackie D, I'm very good, thank you, and I hope you are as well. Thoughts on Neco Williams or Trent moving on? I'd be amazed. He said both are class players and won't like sharing a position. Personally, think Neco would be much better. I know for a fact, and you guys know as well, that Trent started his career in midfield, but I'm fairly sure I read Neco Williams in an interview say that he started his career further forward as well, as more of an attacking player. So it's possible that Trent could move into midfield, although I would rather he stayed at right back. But I don't think any of them will be moving on anytime soon, mate. I think we'll find a way of accommodating both, whether it be Williams covering at left back or right back or whatever. But I don't think they'll move on, mate. I mean, they both love playing for this club. I'd be kind of disappointed if Klopp doesn't improve the squad this year or at least boost the bench. Evan, mate, I'm going to be honest. If we go through the summer and we see our rival strengthen, so Manchester City, by everything I've read, look like they're going to spend money. United are going to spend money. Chelsea are already spending money and will probably look to spend more money. I'm going to be pissed off if we don't do some business. I'm not going to lie about it. It's been 3 quiet enough years now for Liverpool, and I tried to make allowances, and of course I will make allowances for the situation we're in financially in the world right now, but nobody is going to tell me that if other clubs can afford to spend money that we can't. We've won the Premier League. We've won the Champions League. We've got lots of money coming our way. We've got this new kit deal with Nike. And yes, I know that we don't know if fans will be in the stadium next year. And yes, I know that matchday revenues are lost. But isn't that the same for all clubs? And I know we paid the most in agents' fees last year as well because we renewed a lot of players' contracts. But it's still going to be, I feel like, a kick in the nuts if we don't spend from a position of strength. For me, left back, an attacker, a backup goalkeeper, maybe an attacking midfield player if I want to be really greedy about it. But it's very difficult for me to be critical of the club because they've done so many fucking brilliant things. But it just feels like a missed opportunity if we don't do some business. Delwyn Jones said Cantwell isn't the player we should look at, in my opinion. He didn't impress few matches. Do you think we can sell Wilson or Shaqiri? We need Jota. Shaqiri, yes, I think he'll move on. Wilson, I would move on in a heartbeat. I mean, he's not even getting a start a lot of the time for Bournemouth, yet some of our fans seem to think that because he scores the odd worldie that he's absolutely going to come in and challenge our front three. I don't see it myself, mate. I've never seen all the hoopla around Harry Wilson. I think if the right money came in, we'd move him on. But I also think that the club are going to be patient, and if we don't get the right money in this window, they probably loan him back out for another year and then reevaluate and see how it gets on next year when maybe the market settle down a little bit. Captain Clun said emoji for Sadio Mane, please. It's defo in the works. I promise you, mate. Connor is working on that. Do you think Jones will play a bigger role next season, or can you see another midfielder coming in like Thiago, said Curry? Definitely. To the first part of your question, 100%. I mean, Curtis Jones is a baller. I think we'll all agree on that. The kid is full of confidence, looks really well every time he plays. A lot of leadership qualities actually around Curtis Jones as well. And you see him playing at underage level, and he looks head and shoulders above a lot of the other players at times. And I think without a doubt, Curtis Jones will play a big role in the season ahead. As I said, I think he'll take that Lallana position in the squad anyway. There is no Liverpool is broke compared to other teams spending strength and things like that. I don't know what you're saying there, mate. Sorry, it's a bit gobbledygook. Get a Robbo emoji with an eye patch for the eye pokes, said Matt Douglas. A playmaker would be good, said Claire. We should be able to spend at least 80 million to trade trainer. Elijah John 5 said, yes, Craig, we need to spend. There is money there. Fan Statistica said, Gary Neville talks a lot of crap, especially about Liverpool. Neko will fit us greatly. We'll be covered at left back and right back and get a lot of games next season. Why does City get fined if they aren't guilty? Leon, your guess is as good as mine, pal. And that's something that Mourinho was talking about as well. He said the very same thing. They're either guilty or they're not. Like, if they got fined, it's a disgrace. If they're cleared and they're fined, it's a disgrace. So, I don't know, Leon, is the honest answer. PJ Lad said, don't want this go, to be honest, would much rather prefer Havertz. Don't want this go. I think you meant Thiago, PJ, did you? Yes, you did. Of course, I'm with you, PJ. I much prefer Kai Havertz. And look, it looks like Havertz may be going to Chelsea, or at least they're going to make a play for him. I'd seen Chelsea linked with somebody else today, actually, and I can't think off the top of my head who it is. I don't know. There's somebody else pretty high profile I'd seen them linked with. Morton said, if we want new players, we could have a look at the 20-year-old Swansea striker who scores every game. His name's Raheem Brewster. I've heard good things about him, Morton. I've heard good things about him, and I know I don't want to speak out of class here, but I think he's going to be a Liverpool player. Shh, don't say that to anyone though, Morton. Do you know what I mean? Just between us, buddy. Yeah, look, Raheem Brewster, I'm really excited to see what this kid does. I don't know if he'll come back in to Liverpool next season or if he'll go back out on loan. I've said this before. I'd love to see him, if he goes out on loan, go somewhere like Leeds or Sheffield United. You know, somewhere where they need a striker. And yeah, I think big things are ahead for Raheem Brewster. And as you said, he's done quite well since the restart for Swansea as well. And looks to be full of confidence. Where has all the Maddison talk gone? There's never been any that I've seen, Dara. The talk around James Maddison was only there, for me, this is just what I've seen now, I'm not saying you're wrong, not last year, before he went and signed for Leicester, when he was still at Norwich, but then he got an ankle injury at the end of the season with Norwich, and things all of a sudden seemed to go really cold from a Liverpool perspective. But again, I can't see Leicester looking to move James Maddison on this summer. The fine was for not cooperating with the investigation. Yeah, but it's kind of a bit strange, isn't it? You know what I mean? They didn't cooperate, but yet they get away with it. I don't really know. Now, they've come out and said that they didn't cooperate because they felt that they weren't being listened to by UEFA. That's one thing I do actually remember hearing Manchester City or somebody say about Manchester City, or maybe Manchester City said about the investigation. Remember we thought we could get Mbappe? Yeah, I know, Shay. Huh? Those were the days, man, weren't they? Those were the days. Four Slice Toaster said, sorry Craig, I missed most of the stream, going to watch it back later, enjoy your day. Same to you, buddy, and never any need to apologise, pal. Oblak, that was it. It was Jan Oblak, Ethan, great show. Yes, I had seen, again, this is something that I predicted a very long time ago, but if you go back and watch the predicted La Liga team of the next decade video that I did when I went to the launch of La Liga TV, I predicted that Kepa would end up back in Spain, and this was back in January. And it looks like they're trying to do a deal where Kepa would go to Atleti and then Jan Oblak would come to Chelsea. I don't know if that's the case. Jan Oblak to me has always seemed very settled in Madrid. He's spoken about it before, that he loves it there. And I don't know. I mean, maybe it would be of interest to Atleti, and maybe they feel if they got Kepa back to Spain that he'd be a bit more settled and they might bring his level of performance up, because there's been times at Chelsea where he's looked very good, and then there's been other times where he's looked like a shadow of himself. I don't know, but yes, it was Oblak. Thank you very much for that. Fan Statistica said we basically replace Lallana with Jones, younger, fitter, more mobile player, and save 100 grand a week. We can get much more matches from Jones. Smart move again. I agree with you on that, mate. 100%. Jones is going to be a fantastic player. Just a heads up, by the way, we will be doing a watch along of the Arsenal game tomorrow. We're going to be starting from 7:45. The game kicks off at 8:15, so make sure you've got your notifications turned on, and if you haven't subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button. I'm not sure yet if we'll be doing the game on Hot Mic or not. We're still working on a few little things at our end. So if you've got Hot Mic, keep an eye out on it. If you see us scheduled on there, obviously we'll be doing the game. If not, we won't be just yet. But if we don't see you out this season on Hot Mic, we'll more than likely be back in the summer and back for the start of next season. We're just trying to do a few little bits and pieces at our end to make the experience a bit more streamlined and a bit smoother, put it that way. But yeah, so thank you for that. But yeah, tomorrow, hope you can join us for that one, because there's only 3 games to go this season. What else is there? Craig, when is international football back? I know that there are some games coming up in October. The playoffs, I think, are coming up in October, and I think Ireland have a game in September as well, but I'm not 100% certain. Tom Boland said maybe lack of cooperation was the reason they got past the 5-year statute of limitation. Maybe, Tom. It does seem a little bit weird, though, that if we're talking about something that was already looked into, why they're not allowed to use that for the scope of the investigation. But it is what it is. The hearing has happened. The verdict has been put out there, and they will be back in European football for the next 2 years or however long. Just watched the PEP video again about his team going off scot-free. He's also jealous of the best team in the world. He's fucking obsessed with Liverpool, mate. I mean, the whole club are obsessed with Liverpool. When they won the league last year, you probably remember the video of them on the plane. They were singing about us. They're fucking obsessed with us. I haven't yet seen a single video where any of our players celebrating the league title mentioned anybody else but us, because that's all we give a shit about, is what happens at Liverpool. Did you see Liam Gallagher's tweet? Yes, look, I love Liam Gallagher as a musician. But as a person and as a Manchester City fan, he's a fucking shithouse of the highest order. And an idiot, if I'm being honest about it. He was mocking and belittling Liverpool fans left, right and centre. Talking about Kevin De Bruyne and how we thought we'd get him. I don't think any Liverpool fan in their right mind thought that we'd be able to get Kevin De Bruyne from Abu Dhabi FC. But, I don't know, just leave him fucking to it. Himself and his brother have come across as quite fucking bitter over the past while. But yeah, there you go. It is what it is. And hello, how are you, buddy? It's been a while. I'm glad to see that you're well. Said, hey Craig, rumours that Thiago to Manchester United. Imagine we don't sign anyone and our rivals make several signings. One thing I will always say is, if we're linked with a player and we don't sign him, I don't think it's because he turned us down or they turned us down, most of the time anyway. If Thiago's linked with Manchester United, maybe it's where he wants to go. Maybe we don't have any interest in him. We've said this before. I don't know how to read this Thiago situation, because a lot of the English-based media seem to say that no, we've no interest, and then mainland European journalists seem to be convinced that we've an interest in him. Our team has class, as has our manager. City are bitter and twisted about us, said Bernadette. Yeah, they want to be us. It's as simple as that. I don't know what else to say. France Statistica said, spot on, lack of cooperation is telling really. This was one of the clearest examples of buying a court ruling. Liverpool legend, stop crying your heart out. Who would you like us to sign, Craig? Houssem Aouar, Jadon Sancho, Todd Cantwell, fucking Koulibaly while we're at it, backup goalkeeper. I'd love to see us go out and get Erga Kankikir, but it is what it is. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call that one a night. We've been going almost an hour now. I hope to see you guys tomorrow for the Arsenal game. Make sure you've got your notifications turned on. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up as well. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you're watching this back later on, please do let me know your thoughts on what we've spoken about in the comment section. Thank you all very much, as always, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys giving up some of your evening to have a chat with me. Lots of love to you all. Stay safe and stay well, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Up to champions.